You're listening to MMAOddsBreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. Today we're talking to Jason Brilz. Let's get ready to fight Vinny Magalhaes coming up here in Fighting Championships 30. Most people know I kind of start the conversation before we start recording. You kind of surprised me with where you're going right now. It's not what I usually hear from fighters on a Saturday morning. Is this your typical Saturday?
Excuse me, Frank?
I says, is this Riverboat the typical Saturday for you?
No, it's actually a Groupon.
Oh, nice.
And so I trained early this morning, and I got off of work, went and trained, and now we're gonna head out with the family for a little bit.
Yeah, we've texted and talked a little bit back and forth getting this interview set up, and you kept saying, I'm at work. You're a full-time professional fighter, but you're still working full-time as well, correct?
That's correct. I'm actually a full-time firefighter.
Now,
that's my main gig.
Does the fire house, do they have to adjust your schedule? Because obviously you got to be gone for, a full week for every fight. Does the firehouse give you that time off, or is it personal time? Like, how do you make that work?
Actually, it's trade time. So if I have a set of Kelly days, I usually have 5 days off in a row. But if the fight doesn't fall in on those days, I'll have to get a trade time, or I got some buddies that'll on a different shift they'll work for me, and then I'll pay them back, at a later date. In fact, for this fight, I had to get a trade day for the 27th because I'm flying back, so I'm actually working tonight 12 hours for a buddy, and then Tuesday 24 hours for another buddy.
Wow, is there time to actually get training in at the fire hall too while you're there? It's not just. I mean, we all know that you guys have to go from sitting around literally in the middle of a meal to a life-saving fire call. But do you have time in there anywhere to get some training in on that 12-hour shift and that 24-hour shift?
Oh yeah. I'll usually get a good cardio workout before work. So around 5:30 or so in the morning. I get a good hour in. I get to the station, and then usually after 5 o'clock is our free time. So I'll be able to get a CrossFit, something high intensity type deal.
Now, are you really into CrossFit, or is that just something you do because it's at the fire hall and it's relatively simple, to get it done because everything's right there?
I was with CrossFit Omaha for quite a few years, but with work and my other training and my kids now they got a lot of stuff going on. I just didn't have time to get up to the actual gym, so I look up on their website and see what the workout of the day is, and I got a little gym at the home at my house that I can work out at.
Now, I have a buddy of mine who's also an elite level, like yourself, elite level fighter that owns a bunch of CrossFit gyms, and he's like, I can't stand CrossFit. He's like, I go, but that's how you make most of your money. Like the lion's share of your money comes from these CrossFit gyms. And he's like, yeah, I can't stand it. Like the workout for me doesn't do anything. Like it's just not, for me. Like it's just the whole process. Like I don't feel like I get anything out of it as a fighter. And then I worked out with him. We traveled a little bit together. I worked out with him every day. And he basically was doing a modified version of a CrossFit workout every day. I was like, well, I thought you don't like CrossFit. He's like, I don't. This isn't CrossFit. This is something else. I won't say the name of it because you can figure out who it is. But but isn't CrossFit? Now forgive me because I take CrossFit classes, but I just show up, do as I'm told, and leave. Like I'm not part of the community. I don't get into the barbecues and hang out with each other. Like I'm not into that. I just walk in, I work out, I go home. That's my thing. And so isn't CrossFit really just people sitting around like you and I sitting around right now talking about it, figuring out a workout to do and putting it up, and then all of a sudden becomes massively public to everybody? Isn't that kind of what it is? And just using what we have on hand to get ourselves bigger, faster, and stronger?
That's exactly what it is. It's what I like about it is you challenge yourself. You have guys in the gym that you're competing against, but you can do this workout and you get your time, maybe at 12 and a half minutes, and you look at it and you're like, what, I can shave off, 15 seconds if I don't rest here. I can shave off, another 10 seconds here if I just watch where I rest, if I go a little bit quicker. So when you do that workout again, in 3 or 4 months, you can tell your progression. I'm getting faster, I'm getting stronger, and things like that. That's what I like about it. and you know, it's a high intensity workout. You get what you put into it, just like the practice. You know, I could be saying, oh, hey, well, I'm working out with Anderson Silva and all these guys daily, but you know, if I'm just at the gym with them, if I'm not really working out with them, and I'm not really pushing myself against them, then you know, it's just I might as well just be working out with Joe Schmo.
Right.
So that's what you put into it.
Now,
just like any workout. No?
The biggest thing that I've been told by a lot of my friends that are, you know, there's that seems to be it's either for CrossFit or against CrossFit. That they're like, oh, everyone gets hurt in CrossFit. Everybody gets hurt in CrossFit. Well, I've never been hurt. Well, I take that back. I did get hurt one time. I dropped the bar in my face and gave myself 5 stitches. But that was my own fault. I just wasn't paying attention. It was just being stupid. So it wasn't the actual CrossFit workout that hurt me. So have you ever noticed anybody getting hurt, like severely hurt in these things? Because it seems like for us, like for you, you're a professional athlete. You're honed and tuned to do these things. And then you take the mom that's coming off the couch that is finally, her kids are at school, she's finally getting some time for herself, doing the exact same lifts that you are. Maybe not as much weight, maybe not as many repetitions because she's just getting into it. But do you see those type of people getting hurt when they're in CrossFit at all, or is it? Or you haven't? Because I haven't seen it at all. Have you seen that at all? Anybody getting hurt like that?
I've seen people go well above what they should be doing. I just had a buddy that got wrapped up. You know, his creatine levels were 30 or 40,000. You know, it's supposed to be, I don't know, 300 or 400.
Yeah.
But you know what? He was a wrestler, and he had taken quite a few years off of working out, and he got back in there. And it's kind of like a fighter, you know. Once you're done with your training camp, you take those next couple weeks off, and then you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start training again. And you know what? This is where I left off. I was doing 5-minute rounds, so this is where I'm going to begin. And you go out there and you get hurt, and you're like, you know, I overdid it. And that's the biggest thing is people, you know, they get in there, everybody else is doing it, and it's like, well, I don't want to steal my workout, or you know, I'm going to try and beat this guy instead of, you know, just beating myself. And you know, your technique goes bad, and so again, it's what you put into it. If you're going to work out and you're going to use bad technique, well, guess what? You know, that's what you're going to do in a fight. You know, if I'm throwing 1,000 punches, you know, every practice, but only, you know, 50 of them are good punches, well, guess what? It's muscle memory. So.
Right, exactly. Well, let's start talking about punches and kicks and takedowns against Vinny Magalhaes. You know, I definitely didn't want this whole interview to be about CrossFit. I got off on a tangent with you, and I apologize. How do you see? Obviously, Vinny's a great guy on the ground. He's an amazing practitioner when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground. He's got a storied career when it comes to the submission game. But this obviously isn't a submission tournament. This is a real live fight. You know, in his 11 wins, he got 2 KOs and 9 submissions. But you've got a bunch of submissions for yourself as well. You're a guy that likes getting it to the ground, and you've got a great submission record as well with your 6 KOs and your 9 submissions. Is this fight going to be a battle of who has better control on the ground, or is this kind of fight going to be a battle of who's got better control on the feet?
I think it's going to be a battle of, you know, who has the bigger will, who has the bigger heart. You know, anybody can, you know, you look at his fights, and you look at my fights. I've been stopped, you know, I had 2 split decisions, 2 quick knockouts, and early in my career I got submitted once. You know, you look at his, and he's had some TKOs, and he's been submitted himself and stuff. So I think I'm going to have the mental edge where I'm, you know, I've proven in my fights. I don't give up. I don't, I keep going the whole time. If I get in a bad spot, I'm getting out of that bad spot. I'm not going to rest. So I think it's come down to a battle of the will rather than.
Now you guys have a common opponent in Rafael Davis, and of course he fought him back in 2008, and that's where his submission loss came from, and it actually was a verbal submission. He just he had enough in that fight. It's so long ago. Did you take anything from that fight? You know, from the nuances of you and how you fought Raphael and how he fought Raphael, or was the Raphael fight with Vinny so long ago it wasn't even worth paying attention to?
It's not really worth any attention. You know, I know he's evolved as a fighter, and so yeah, I haven't even watched that fight. And I haven't watched really any of his fights. So it's.
Do you normally do that for your fights? Are you a guy that doesn't watch tape and doesn't watch your opponent at all?
No, I really don't. I really don't. I'm so focused on what I'm going to do. I really, my corners, they'll watch it and they'll be like, hey, he likes to do this or he likes to do that. And I'm like, okay. But for the most part, I don't really care what he's going to do because I'm not fast by any means. You know, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to, he likes to throw 1-2, maybe, duck and leave it or something like that. No, I'm going to come straight forward. And, even my coaches even tell me, he's like, hey, Vinny has a great guard. He's really good on the ground, this and that. Maybe we should keep it on our feet. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to, all my other fights, like, Rafael Davis goes, you know what? He's going to come straight forward. He's going to try and take me down. And that's what he's going to do. And I go, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to deviate from my game plan just because he's really good on the ground.
Okay.
If it was a straight jiu-jitsu match, yeah, then, hey, you know what? I want to be really cautious, but, I can punch him. He can punch me back. He has to be worried about getting punched the whole time. Anytime he opens up his guard, I'm going to be looking to pass to get in the side control so I can, really lay on the ground and pound.
Not to mention the elbows and knees as well in the middle of the middle.
Yeah.
So, Jason, thanks for coming on here. I appreciate it. I know it's a little bit of family time. I know that you're a big family man, so you want to spend that time with your family. So we're going to cut this off here. I appreciate it. It was great finally getting in touch with you. I know it took us a while to get back and forth because of your work schedule and my kid's birthday schedule kind of screwed us up. So I apologize about that.
No problem. Good talking to you. Thanks.
It was a great 6-year-old birthday party. I thought it was going to take a couple hours, and I just wouldn't let the fun end. So it was my fault.
No, I completely understand. Kids' birthday parties, they go on for a while. So.
Now, this is for the folks at home. Jason is fighting Vinny. It's the light heavyweight title fight for Titan Fighting Championships 30. It's going to be a great fight. You've got to tune in September 26th to watch this fight. It's mandatory. This is going to be a huge fight, and I really think that Jason doesn't get enough credit for how good he actually is. So people need to start paying attention to him a little bit more. At 22-5, and because you are so quiet and you are so really middle of the country, people just aren't really paying attention to you and your skill. I think that you're getting left over a little bit.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
You got it, bud. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Yeah, I'm going. Bye.